What I learned in EDLL 3352. This is my synthesis project over everything that I learned from this semester. My name is Gwen. So an overview of my learning. Over this semester, we've had learned about what makes up Balanced Literacy Program. I'm going to break down the different parts of the two main concepts we learned about and share how each concept relate to one another and how I saw it at work in my own personal experiences. So there's two main things that we're going to go over today that are under the Balanced Literacy Program, which is the Big Five and then Balanced Literacy parts of the different types of read-alouds and the types of reading. So first we'll start off with the Big Five. So good reading requires two skills from different domains, and this is decoding, which is word recognition, and comprehension. A mixture of these skills all make up what we call the Big Five. So there's 5 parts to it, which is first phonics, then text comprehension, fluency, vocabulary, and lastly phonological awareness. So first we're going to go ahead and just start off with phonics. So a method of teaching students how to read by figuring out correlating sounds between letters - groups of letters in a word. So that's what phonics is. And over here I have a photo of a couple of my kindergartner students from this semester. I was placed in a kindergarten classroom at Miller Elementary, and I saw the concepts of phonics at work in my field placement. Whenever the students were given phonics worksheets, they often had trouble reading some of the new sight words. My mentor teacher told me to do this whenever they asked me for help, and she practiced it herself, to encourage them to sound out the initial sounds in the word by looking at familiar, learned word blends. The next part is text comprehension. The practice my mentor teacher used in her phonics lesson led to the next category of the Big Five, text comprehension. Once students were able to decode and work through words based off of their sounds, they could figure out what the word was. By knowing what the word was, then they were able to begin to comprehend the text. So text comprehension has 2 parts to it, and it's the levels of comprehension and factors of comprehension. So text comprehension is established when students understand what they are reading. Factors of comprehension is students' prior knowledge or background knowledge, connections to their own experience, vocabulary, fluency, and text factors. And then some levels of comprehension is they start out at the literal stage, which is a surface understanding, knowing what is actually stated. Then interpretive, which is reader thinks about what is implied or meant, not just stated. Evaluate, which is taking what is said and meaning and being able to apply to the concept. Here on the right, I have a screenshot of a kindergarten worksheet that we actually saw in our classroom, and I want to share how that connects from phonics to text comprehension. So we had to use phonics by breaking down different words that we saw into their certain blends to try to figure out what the word was. So for example, this one says what starts with A. So what we put on the board is the word apple, and a lot of students didn't know what it was. So what we did was we started out by sounding out each sound, starting with the A, P, P, L, and that is breaking down the word blend, so then they figured out the word apple. So what they're going to need to do for this specific worksheet is they're going to need to take that knowledge of what the words are and link that to their prior knowledge of and their comprehension of what words mean, and that's how they'll pick out the photo. So the next one we're going to move on is fluency. And fluency is more than just about reading words correctly at a medium to fast paced. It's more about being able to read quickly, accurately, expressively, and comprehensively. So after comprehension, you can move on to fluency, and that's when you begin to actually read the text. So with fluency, even though we kind of just touched on it with my kindergarten class that I was placed in for the field, I saw a lot more of my case study student in 1st grade. So with fluency was something that I had to model first for him because it's not something that just comes naturally to kids. Kids need to be able to see a model representation of how they're supposed to be able to read accurately, expressively, and comprehensively. So that was something that I did at first with our interactive read aloud, and then that turned into our shared reading, where first I would read the text and then he was given the opportunity to read it, and I could see him modeling my expressions and the accuracy and how quickly I had read it. So next I'm going to move on to vocabulary. And so when they're reading, they're going to need to know what vocabulary is. And there's 4 types of vocabulary. There's speaking vocabulary, listening vocabulary, reading vocabulary, and writing vocabulary. And then the last part of the Big Five is phonological awareness. So phonological awareness is what we hear before any writing and letters ever happen. The stage happens at a very young age. So it's kind of interesting because it kind of does a big loop with our Big Five. So we're starting with phonics and we end with phonological awareness. So you're starting out with the basic parts of just teaching phonics and how word blends sound and such. And then at the end, you want your students to establish phonological awareness. And that is, basically just happens in the womb whenever children are able to hear different sounds, and it's also when they come out of the womb, and just basically what they hear and of different sounds. So there is a part of it called phonemic awareness, and a phonemic awareness is awareness of individual sounds in a word. And so a phoneme is a basic unit or building block of spoken word. So phonological awareness transitions into phonic awareness, which is specific understanding that spoken words are made up of individual phonemes. So over here, I just took a screenshot of a PowerPoint presentation that we had seen during this semester, and basically it shows that phonological awareness is an umbrella of skills. And underneath it, there are a ton of different skills that in order to establish phonological awareness, students must be able to do. For example, they must know that phoneme manipulation, deleting, blending, isolating, and segmentation. These skills are a progression of moving towards phonics. So in order to reach phoneme awareness is the transitional phase before phonics. So phonics and phonological awareness go very closely together. In order to establish one, you must understand the other. So lastly, we're going to go over an overview of learning of our balanced literacy, which is our interactive read aloud, shared reading, independent reading, and guided reading. So let's start off with interactive read aloud. Children are actively engaged in listening and talking about the text throughout the read aloud. Children are kept engaged by teacher-led questions and discussions. Teachers are allowed to share their ideas. So when we first started out with our case study student, our first lesson plan right off the book was an interactive read aloud. We were allowed to choose our own book, and we were just supposed to build an interactive read aloud. So I used this time to access the interests in books of my student, trouble areas, and other crucial parts to gauge where his reading level is at and to see his ability. So I picked The Giving Tree because it was a super basic book. Every page has 1 to 2 sentences. They're all words that were probably sight words for my student in kindergarten, and so I made it more relatable in that way. Next is shared reading, and we went through every single step of these read alouds with our students, so next we moved on to shared reading, and that's when students become more involved in the reading. Interactive reading aloud experience is where teachers and students can share their reading of the book, and the teacher can model how to proficiently read with fluency and expression. So with my case study student Azarian, he read the book with more expression, fluency, and accuracy after being modeled how to properly read. There was a visible difference between his interaction during the read aloud and the shared reading. So he clearly had a transition point between the two because he had been modeled twice how to properly read a text. So he was beginning to get more excited about reading it and also was shown how to become more actively engaged. So the next step that we moved on to was independent reading. And so children are asked to read on their own. They often receive minimal to no assistance from adults, and they can happen at home or in school. So I have 2 examples for this. So the first is that with my kindergartners, it was almost impossible to ask them to independently read silently themselves because of their maturity levels and their attention span. So they were often skipping straight to the assignment or not comprehending what they were reading. So comparative to Zarian in 1st grade, when I saw him doing independent reading, either out loud to myself or to himself when he had free time, I saw him pay a lot more attention. He handled the text with maturity, and he was very cautious of his reading. So lastly, we moved into guided reading, and those were multiple lessons that we did throughout the semester. So the teacher works with a small group of readers through an instructional text. Teachers provide students with an opportunity to read and help them with problem-solving strategies while reading the text. One concept I was able to address during this guided reading with my case study student Azarian was his reading pace. Azarian loved to race through the reading, and by working together in a guided reading session, we were able to adjust this.